Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Now, this field report is a little odd, only because you're not going to be able to take advantage of it tomorrow. Columbia closes today. Fishing already this morning is decent. Been getting several reports from the deadline up above all the way down to what would be called the deadline down below, which in between is the dead zone, if you're not necessarily familiar with that. Getting reports this morning already of some decent success. Wet success. But certainly if you do have that opportunity maybe to get out there today, that was my plan, was maybe to head out there today. I'm not certain if that's going to happen. It looks like that rain is going to pass us by, but we'll find out from Katie here in just a little bit if that's accurate or not. But certainly some good opportunities out right now. Lots of questions. If there's going to be another extension or not, we won't know. I believe that their meeting this upcoming week is on Wednesday. We'll know more then. Cameron Black yesterday had mentioned that, the numbers have to be, substantial enough going over Bonneville to justify them doing so. But as you all know, that is 6 in one hand or half dozen in another. Who knows how they make their decisions, right? So odds are that we're not, but who knows? Get lucky. Other than that, wait until October for silvers on the Columbia. But there's a lot of other options, and that's how things are going to change this upcoming week with the Columbia being off the table for a while. Tributary fishing, and you just got a great shot of water. Any system that gets silvers, any system, doesn't matter where it is, probably going to have some fresh ones show up in it today, tomorrow. So kind of plan, watch those river levels. We'll get there. I don't think we have any of the small tribs loaded up right now, but any of the small rivers that had just a sliver of a bump, those fish are going to smell it, they're going to know it, and they're going to start working their way up in there. So, the next day or two could be interesting if you have a system that you are familiar with, so kind of keep that in mind. Twitch and jigs, throwing Brad's wigglers, spinners, all those are on the table. And worst case scenario, if you can't make that work, bobber and eggs would also be something I'd take along. But let's go ahead and take a look at the fish count, see if that changed at all since yesterday. Willamette, of course, hasn't updated, but if you take a look at Bonneville, Bonneville really the only interesting one there that I think, other than we really want to see those summer steelhead numbers continue to climb, is the coho numbers. And you can see 2186 is going over the dam. Yesterday it dropped again for Chinook at 7113. We got the comment yesterday about, maybe getting that opportunity to get back out there. Yes, of course, they did give the kill nets more of an opportunity, as well, as absurd as that is. But there are a lot of fish that are below that dam that have not made the push over. Warm water will keep them from going over in mass numbers, okay? Had a little bit of cool down early on in the week. You saw the numbers make a pretty significant bounce, and it warmed right back up again. The numbers start to slide. So just cross your fingers that there's a reason for them to make that big bump and head over the dam if there's going to be some sort of an extension. But again, 140,000 summer steelhead over the dam. Pretty darn cool. I don't care who you are. If you haven't had a chance to chase them, I only was after them once over on the Deschutes, and it was great. So I just hope that that is a sign of what's to come in the next handful of years. Cross your fingers. River levels. Ryan, this might be the time where we start adding in some of the smaller rivers as well going forward, with silver starting to work their way in there. That'll be next weekend, everybody. Willamette, same thing as yesterday, a little bit of an up and down bounce. Only thing anybody's chasing out there right now are silvers. A number of places, mouth of the Clackamas, a couple others as well that are further upriver. But at the very least, certainly something to keep in mind if you like to stay close to home. 2 or 3 hour shots out there on the water out of Oregon City or something can be productive if it's done the right way. Then, of course, the Columbia, just straight up and down. Again, not that important right now, although who knows, things could change, but you got very vertical tides right now. Water's very, very low. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, on the bottom of these tides, there's been boats that have been smacking stuff out there, and it's either not understanding where you are or maybe just running areas that you're not or were unaware that could get so shallow. Same thing up at Bonneville, kind of consistent. Fishing up there yesterday was pretty good. Pretty good. Of course, don't forget, though, if you want some free stuff from ProCure, send Jason at ProCure KPTV.com and email, enter yourself in to win that weekly prize pack. And like I mentioned before, we'll continue to do this yearly like we have, or monthly like we have done. But I think the next one will be slanted towards steelhead, and that would be winter steelhead. Believe it or not, already on my mind. Although I got a lot of duck hunting to do between now and then. Is what it is. Now, it looks like we do have a phone call that's coming through. If you'd also like to jump in, we got a little extra time. It's 503-548-6777. But let's go ahead and check in with Katie Suniga and find out what this weather is going to really do. Katie, this morning, it was just coming down. I don't know how much rain we got total, but that sure was nice to see, but it looks like things are changing.
Yeah, it wasn't as much. If you remember last Sunday, we had the same thing happen, and we ended up getting like 0.6 of an inch. We're getting about half that.
Oh, wow, okay.
This morning, yeah, it's just one kind of quick downpour that's moved through, and it is wettest before noon. In fact, if you're toward the coast up in Astoria, you're probably already drying out, and that's going to continue to track kind of southeast through the morning, and then likely the Metro and Valley's dry by noon. It will be bright again tomorrow, but that's not until after some morning fog. When you have a wet day and then it's clear the next morning, you get that fog developing. It will be warmer in the afternoon, and then our hottest day again, almost a copy repeat of last week's forecast, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Same thing for this week, where we will see the temperatures getting into those upper 80s, maybe even low 90s. Here's what I'm talking about. If you look all up in that northern part, it's dry. There's that band, and it's just starting to pass through the metro, moving down through the valleys. Not quite done yet, but it is definitely headed that way. And we should also begin to see a few sun breaks into the afternoon and partly cloudy skies when we hit the peak of the day there and the low 70s. And then again, it's going to clear up and be clear overnight tonight into tomorrow, giving us that chance for fog. Along the coast today, it's going to be in the mid 60s, and then over off to the east, it will be in the low 70s. That 7-day forecast for you after we peak again on Tuesday in the upper 80s, maybe low 90s for the valleys. It will be gradual cooling for you all the way to the weekend. Right now, Saturday looks dry, but a bit more cloudy and a little cooler again, back into the low 70s.
Near 90 on Tuesday? Come on, this is like a roller coaster. This is September.
It is. So we get our last 80-degree day at the end of the month, so that's not a big deal. But if we hit 90, then we're just like a week away from the latest we've ever been.
Wow, that is very interesting with so much rain, at least recently. That's interesting. Katie, as always, it's great to see you on the weekends.
All right, have a good one.
We appreciate it. All right, we've got Brian on the line from Redmond. For crying out loud, Brian, how are you? Looks like you got a question about a boat. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, hey, I just got a question for you. You know, I've been pretty much watching you since day one. In fact,
Nice.
I'm the one that sent in the picture of the dog wearing the old GPS hat to you the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, after all these years of watching you and what you've been, because I'm in the market of looking for a new boat myself, what pushed you from River Wild to Willie's?
From River Wild to Willie? Really just opportunity. Really, there is literally nothing bad I could ever say about River Wild. They make a fantastic boat. Fully custom. Sometimes it's a little bit longer process to get one, but having Portland Marine and Electronic as a sponsor, they sell Willie boats, and I was able to get a reasonable deal on the boat, and you cannot argue with the Willie. There's a reason why they're probably the most popular river jet sleds that are out there for a reason. It's a Willie, for crying out loud. But I love the boat, the different setup. There's certainly some small differences between the two when you're talking about ride and hull design. The one that I actually went with is the Raptor. They've got a number of different versions. The first two Willies that I had were both Predators, which is more of a flat bottom. The Raptor is kind of an in-betweenster where you get a little bit more entry cut. Still, my boat is actually a tunnel hole. So to get a relatively deep cut in the front and a tunnel hole with a 250, to be able to run the Columbia and in literally no water is a huge advantage for what I like to do each year. So in the end, it was just an opportunity. But I absolutely love River Wild. They make a great boat. But a Willie's a Willie. I mean, you can't argue that. It's a Willie. I mean, it's just that simple. What kind of boats are you looking into?
Well, I've been looking at Duckworth, North Rivers. I've looked a little bit at the Kingfishers, those kinds of boats. I initially was looking at hardtops, but the more I started researching those, it's not going to be a smart move for me for what I'm doing, because I'm over here in Central Oregon, so obviously doing a lot more lake fishing, but there are, I want to start getting more opportunities to be up there on the Columbia and start learning that up there and getting, learn the information from you and whatnot. So those are the ones I've been looking at, but I kind of been looking at the Willies since you went to them and just kind of looking over things and going onto their website and seeing what all is available too. So I'm just kind of looking at everything right now and figuring, I'm hoping first of next year I'll be able to purchase what I'm looking for.
Very cool. Hey, everything that you just named as far as boat out there, North River, for crying out loud, it's like, there's so many great manufacturers of boats here in Oregon, there's no question, especially when you're talking about aluminum boats. North River is at the top of the list with 3 or 4 others as well. I mean, they're just fantastic boats. You just have to find what it is that really fits with what you want to do and the folks that you meet, right? Because you're not just buying a boat, well, of course you are, but you're also buying it from people, right? So you got to have the folks that you actually like talking with, that work with you the way that you're comfortable, which is super, super important. Portland Marine would be someone, of course, they're a sponsor, so it's easy for me to say that. But I do everything through them. And down there in Redmond, you've got the access to the builders themselves. So find the one that works best for you and the company that you want to work with, and you're not going to go wrong. Pretty simple with that one. Brian, thanks for your phone call, man. Well, good luck.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Have a good day. You
too. Take care. Thanks for the phone call, sir. All right, we're going to cut to a quick break. When we come back, I've got Ed and Marie Keene from Ocean here in the studio. The folks have put on the Saltwater Sportsman Show, but they're here to announce their new president as well. We'll be back with that in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.